Hello, this is Lon Acherman with Acherman Law, and today we're going to be talking to you about child custody in Nevada. In Nevada, custody over a child entails two separate but equally important sets of rights: legal custody and physical custody. Legal custody is defined as the right to make decisions over a child and the right to receive information regarding a child. Physical custody is defined as the right to physically be with the child. Now, legal custody can be granted as the parties having joint legal custody or one party having sole legal custody. When the parties have joint legal custody, then both parties have the same right to make decisions over a child. They have to get together and make decisions together in regards to where the child goes to school, religious upbringing, information regarding medical care, etc. Sole legal custody means one parent or the other has the sole right to make all of those decisions and obtain all of the information in regards to the child. In the vast majority of cases, parties are granted joint legal custody. However, if one party establishes that the other is unable or unwilling to make those important decisions regarding the child, then that party will be granted sole legal custody. If the parties have joint legal custody and they can't make a decision together about something that is important for the child, then they will have to go to court and allow the court to make that decision for them. When talking about physical custody, the parties can be granted either joint physical custody, or one party can be granted primary physical custody or sole physical custody. If the parties are granted joint physical custody, that means that the parties more or less equally share physical custody over that child. Usually that means that neither party has more than 60% of the time with the child, and neither party has less than 40% of the time with the child. Now, a lot of times what these situations with joint physical custody look like will be a week on, week off schedule, or what people call the 50-50 schedule, where they share exactly an equal amount of time with the child. Or it can be something like 3 days with one parent, 4 days with the other parent, so that it's not 50-50, but the parents have between 60% and 40% of the time with the child. In certain situations, particularly when one parent lives out of town or one parent is simply unable to physically care for the child for 40% of the time or more, then the other parent will have primary physical custody, and the non-custodial parent is usually given a reasonable right to visitation. Those are situations that we commonly see where one parent has every other weekend with the child, or just the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with the child. In some extreme circumstances, where one parent has proven that he is simply unable, for one reason or another, to handle having any physical custody or visitation whatsoever, then the other parent may be granted sole physical custody. Those situations are extreme, and we should be very careful about completely cutting one parent off from the child altogether. Those extreme situations often arise where there is significant problems with drug or alcohol abuse, or where there's been neglect or abuse of a child. Again, those situations are extreme, and we have to be very careful. It is almost never in a child's best interest to completely cut off one parent from that child. But again, in some limited circumstances, that is necessary, and you should be prepared, if you think that such a situation is warranted in your case, to present to the court very compelling evidence as to why the other parent should not have any contact with the child. Today we've talked about the basics of child custody here in Nevada. However, every case is different, and in order to understand what your rights and your obligations may be if you're going through a custody case yourself, you should sit down with one of the many qualified family attorneys here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can give us a call, 702-868-4151. And when you do, you can be sure that we will offer personal, professional representation.